Samana. Samana is the third prana. It operates between the navel and the diaphragm. The word samana is derived from the root saman, meaning equal or balanced. Thus it acts as a balancer or equalizer for the two opposite forces of prana and apana. Samana activates and maintains the digestive organs and their secretions and is responsible for metabolism. It is associated with the digestive fire Jatar Agni. Samana is experienced as a sideway movement of light, like the swinging of a fast pendulum from right to left and left to right. It is responsible for the Manipura experience of vitality and dynamism. There are 6 major organs of digestion: liver, stomach, duodenum, spleen, and the small and large intestines, and all fall within the field of samana. The body receives its life support and healthy nourishment by the agency of samana. The distinctive feature of samana is that although it is a single force, it is capable of different activities in all these different organs. Samana maintains the cohesion and balance between the koshas. It is subtle in comparison to apana and gross in comparison to prana. Just as it helps digest food, samana is also responsible for digesting the mind stuff. Samana, the equalizer, is disturbed whenever one's mental peace and harmony are disturbed. Whenever there is turbulence in the body and the senses, samana becomes agitated and causes disorders. Poor assimilation of food is a result of samana imbalance, causing buildup of toxins as well as psychological blockage. Udana. Udana is the 4th manifestation which operates in the extremities, the arms, legs and head. This prana is responsible for all the sensory organs, jnanendriyas, and the organs of action, karmendriyas. It coordinates and controls the movements of the legs, arms and neck, and directs the activities of the brain and sensory organs that are situated in the head region. These include eyes, vision, ears, hearing, tongue, taste, nose, smell, skin, tactile sensation. The organs of action controlled by Udana are 3: hands, feet and speech. The other 2, the excretory and reproductive organs, are under the control of Apana. Udana also assists prana in inhalation and exhalation, intake of food and drink, as well as vomiting, spitting and swallowing saliva. All the functions of the throat and mouth are sustained by Udana, and its influence begins from the region of Vishuddhi chakra. It also maintains the pranic link between the heart and the brain. In addition, Udana aids the minor pranas in carrying out their activities due to its close proximity to them. All the 5 minor pranas function due to the energy derived from Udana. Udana sustains the sense organs and their activities. The enjoyment of senses keeps Udana active because it functions according to their needs. The force of Udana keeps the body upright. It is responsible for anti-gravitational activities of the body, particularly by the hands and the feet. Udana allows one to perform positive mental work. It is responsible for sweet, melodious and impressive speech. It allows for the exchange of prana between the head and heart, thereby establishing contact between the subtle and causal bodies. It maintains the relationship between the gross, subtle and causal bodies. Udana is experienced as spiraling flow of light down the arms and legs and up through the head. Udana pervades Ajna, Bindu and Sahasrara chakras. It brings energy up the koshas from the gross to the subtle. When the yogi fixes his attention on Udana, he becomes free from hunger, thirst, sleep and drowsiness. The activity of Udana becomes extremely slow and subtle during meditation and samadhi. An irregular Udana causes breathing troubles, inefficiency in physical and mental work, inability to think clearly or express oneself, uncoordinated speech, weakened will, and lack of cheer. Vyana. Vyana, the fifth prana, pervades the whole body and acts as a reserve energy. It helps all the other pranas when they require an extra boost. When one overexerts and feels extremely tired, a rush of energy comes, which enables one to continue. The second wind is the Vyana experience. Vyana also regulates and coordinates all the muscular movements, aids in sending impulses to different parts of the body, and causes the flow of perspiration and goosal flesh. Vyana causes all the pranas, major and minor, to function by being their accessory. Vyana brings about circulation through all the 5 koshas and is responsible for their differentiation. It pervades the spatial element in the body and is the vehicle of consciousness through the body. In the condition of excitement, due to its swift motion, it makes the mind excited and deluded. The motion of consciousness becomes intense at such times. When Vyana, the expansive energy, is unbalanced, there is lack of coordination, tremors, inability to reach out to people, and the mind is erratic. The 5 pranas have varying densities of ionic fields. Udana is the least dense, then follow Prana, Samana and Apana. Vyana, which flows throughout the whole body, has a density which is the average of all the others. The ionic fields of the pranas may be visualized as swirling clouds of differing colors and hues, capable of expanding and contracting. The colors are created due to the emission of photons when electrons change their energy levels from higher to lower frequencies. The Amritananda Upanishad describes the colors of the different pranas thus. Prana is said to be blood red, the color of ruby or coral. Apana is the color of Indragopa. It's an insect which is white or red in color. Samana is in between the color of pure milk and crystal, oily and shining. Udana is Apandara, pale white. And Vyana is the color Oiarchis, a ray of light. Union of Prana and Apana. Of the 5 pranas, the 2 most influential are Prana and Apana, as Shiva Samhita states. Out of the 10 major and minor pranas, the 5 first are the leading ones. Even among these, Prana and Apana are the highest agents. Prana and Apana are the 2 opposite forces in the physical body. Prana moves upward from the navel and Apana downward. Under the influence of Apana, the consciousness is drawn down to Muladhara, which is associated with the earth element, the grossest level of manifestation. There it generates desires and interacts with the world. Under the influence of prana, the consciousness is drawn upward towards Sahasrara, which is associated with ether, the subtlest element, and with the unmanifest dimension, where it experiences its higher nature. In the practice of yoga, the direction or movement of prana and apana are changed. The upward flow of prana is directed downward and downward flow of apana is directed upward. In this way, the both move toward one another and meet at samana. At this meeting point, the energy of yogagni, fire of yoga, arises. When these two aspects of life, the inner and the outer, the mundane and the spiritual, are brought together and united, the Kundalini awakens. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna instructs Arjuna on Raja Yoga and Hatha Yoga. His basic advice is, unite prana with apana, or unite apana with prana. Apana is absorbed in prana by some and prana in apana by others. By restraining the courses of prana and apana, the yogi is wholly occupied in pranayama. The union of prana and apana, or apana and prana, or the suspension of both, can be attained through the practices of yoga. There are many practices for bringing about this union. When siddhasana is practiced and the inspired breath is taken to the region of samana, prana and apana, unite at this center. The practices of kriya yoga bring about the same effect. When the three bandhas are performed, Jadhara bandha stops prana from ascending, Mula bandha stops apana from descending, and Udana bandha creates a suction process which affects the behavior of both prana and apana. A shatkarma like Nauli Kriya also creates union between prana and apana. When pranayama is practiced with inhalation, exhalation and retention, the union of prana and apana takes place at Ajna chakra. The union of prana and apana is one of the most important aims of yoga. Until the practitioner is able to channel these two forces, he continues to be under the influence of duality, and the mind remains dissipated. The Yoga Chundamani Upanishad says, "Just as a ball goes up and down when thrown by the hand, similarly the individual soul is thrown up and down by the movement of prana and apana, and therefore does not remain still." 5 minor pranas. Along with the 5 major pranas, there are 5 minor or upa pranas, actually called Panchavayus. These are Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta and Dhananjaya. The Panchavayus are grosser and more limited manifestations of energy compared to the Panchapranas. Naga. This field of activity causes belching and hiccups. When the air element is agitated, Naga becomes active and tries to throw the agitated air out of the stomach, causing vibrations in Udana, Prana and Samana. Naga remains inactive as long as the diet and digestion are healthy. In the state of meditation, Naga does not function. Kurma. This field causes the blinking of the eyes and keeps the eyes healthy, moist and protected. It enables one to see all objects. The eyes shine due to the energy of Kurma and one appears impressive. When Kurma is under control, the yogi can keep the eyes open for hours performing Trataka. Although Kurma operates in a small area, it has a lot of force, and during meditation it makes concentration firm and deep. Krikara. This field causes yawning, hunger and thirst and assists in respiration. Due to its relation with yawning, its origin is sloth and lethargy. When Krikara is controlled with practice, sloth and sleep are overcome, hunger and thirst are controlled, and sweet secretion begin to flow in the mouth. The control of Krikara is especially helpful during fasting and samadhi. Devadatta. This field causes sneezing and aids in respiration. It becomes activated by sharp or irritating smells and causes pain in the nostrils in more intense conditions. In its subtle state, Devadatta enables the practitioner to experience divine smells. Dhananjaya. This field pervades the whole body and is related to the organ of touch. Influences the work of the muscles, arteries and veins and the skin. The swelling experienced during an injury is due to the motion of Dhananjaya. During a tamasic state, it reinforces sloth in the body. Dhananjaya is the last prana to leave the body after death and is responsible for decomposition of the body. Pranayama and Prana Vidya. Although the 10 pranas, major and minor, are identified separately, they work in a synchronicity to take every physical action to its rightful conclusion. For example, in the process of metabolizing food, prana helps to take the food down and samana facilitates its digestion, vyana circulates the nutritions, apana eliminates the waste material, and udana carries the energy derived from the food for physical work. The Prashnopanishad draws an analogy between the pancha pranas and yajna, likening apana, vyana and prana to the yajna fire, samana to the priest, mind to the host, and udana to the fruit of sacrifice. The pranic process is indeed equivalent to the yajna process. Energy is fed, life is infused, and energy is emitted through the combined forces. Therefore, when all the pranas are balanced, the body and mind are in a state of optimized harmony. However, this is not usually the case. Due to overuse and misuse, the pranas of most people are in a state of imbalance. In the course of daily life, worry and stress use maximum prana so that the pranic fields become exhausted and discharged. This in turn causes fatigue, depression, and inefficient digestion and circulation. As this vicious cycle continues, the body does not have the strength to walk, work, or think, and the smallest disturbance causes nervousness and anxiety. In order to remedy this, the pranas need to be charged constantly so their functioning is optimized and balance is maintained. This is the first objective of pranayama, which charges and replenishes the pranas through the practices. When the pranas are sufficiently charged, they are awakened. During the practice of prana vidya, one realizes the awakened pranas. The practitioner becomes intensely aware of each individual prana, its movement and psychic perception. However, one can also begin to appreciate the nature of the different pranas by observing and concentrating on the different actions caused by them. Through the realization of the pranas, consciousness is realized. The sensation of prana in a particular area can become the medium of experience of consciousness or the intelligent principle in that region. As the pranas pervade the gross as well as subtle functions, the deeper their realization, the subtler is the perception of consciousness. When the realization of the pranas is sufficiently intense, the yogi can guide these forces and transform their qualities as required.